It's not, people don't want to hear the truth. People want you to drop an email and fill them with false hope. So they send an email that you notification that never gets open. So that one day you're like, why the fuck do I have 3,900 unread emails? How do I mass read all these at the same time? And that's the one time it gets read, whenever you don't ever even open it.
Sender notified by mail track.
Even that shit don't do anything. You just gonna be watching an email, bro.
Y'all seen that meme where Vince Carter does a 360 dunk into the recycling bin? That's where all the emails go.
Anybody hands me anything, bro, I don't listen to nothing. I ain't got to. I was at a point in time where I did that already, bro. I worked my way up. Now that's someone else's job. And for people in here saying I'm negative or whatever, bro, y'all know how I move. Y'all can leave my live. I'm in this bitch talking and giving real game and shit. And y'all might not want to hear this shit because y'all don't know how to take this shit. But it's the truth. And if y'all don't realize, like, this is the unfiltered version of how motherfuckers like me and people in my position think and talk and act and feel. Like, this is us on a day-to-day basis. And I'm just real enough to put my live on and let us have a conversation about it. So I don't give a fuck how anybody feels, bro. Honestly, like, this is me. And y'all know how I am. So don't ask dumbass questions if you don't want a dumbass response. And it could be negative or whatever. I'm not going to sit here and coddle people and tell them that they suck in a nice way. Hey, it's okay. Keep trying. Like,
There isn't medals for
I'm
that
55.
fight.
Yeah, bro.
What the fuck, bro?
Yeah. So, hey, bro. If you don't like how I'm talking right now or how we're talking, then you don't expect to, like, be around your idols.
Don't expect to succeed.
Yeah, because you know what's crazy is I build up these ideas of people in my head of, like, what they're going to be like when I'm actually around them, and they completely different, bro. So this is how people really talk. This is how it is. And if you don't like this shit, then go change your tampon and go to a different profession where you got to do someone else's job and make someone else rich. Because we in the business of making ourselves rich. And when you in here, it's a lot of cutthroat shit and a lot of snake-ass shit going on. So in order to move and maneuver through this shit, you got to be on your shit and A1 and be an asshole too. So it's just like, handle it right. You know what I mean? I'm a real person. You don't want to hear the truth? Don't ask me a question because I speak the truth. And I have facts and proof and history to show up that I'm right and I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And for people to think I don't know what I'm talking about, he's stupid, bro, look at Internet Money. It is success of everything that I've been fucking teaching people the past 3 years. We've only been in the industry for 3 years. What other producers you know come in the industry in 3 years and have this many platinum records, this many gold records, this many number ones, break this many artists, put this many artists on, and then on top of it, within 3 years, the mark of being on my fucking deal, go give myself a fucking hit bigger than what a lot of the artists y'all look up to have done in their fucking career. A lot of these artists that y'all worship or whatever going on, whatever, they ain't even had a top 10 record or a number one UK.
Lemonade isn't just our top 10 record.
Yeah.
The biggest.
Lemonade isn't just our number one record in the UK.
So
A lot of other
I could hold my nuts and respectfully say, fuck anybody that don't like how I talk. This is how shit's handled, and this is how it's done. This is how I talk.
That's how I talk.
This is how I talk. Do I regret not signing Tekka? At the time, yeah, of course, because, like, he went on to make Ransom. But, like, over time, I just look at it like everything happened for a reason. And if I would have signed Tekka, I don't think I'd be here with Lemonade right now.
Also, wasn't it not like
He went and did his thing, and he went up, and he's doing his thing. Like, I'm doing my thing. That's my boy right there.
On Friday.
Yeah, so it's just like,
I have no regrets. He got signed and he's out there.
yeah, like, everything happens for a reason, bro. And it's my homie. We still work. Like, it's not like he signed and said fucking in that money. Like, we came up together. Like, we break bread. That's his team is my team. Like, that's my boy. How the producers get noticed. The way that you're really going to get noticed to me at this point is just working with my producers. So I know Rio has like a fucking Pokedex of every goddamn producer and their strengths and weaknesses. I'll be like, Rio, what's a good producer right now? Like, who's fire? He's like, yeah, honestly, this guy Taz, he's good with melodies, but his beats just aren't the strongest. But this other guy, Cody, His beats are really strong, but his melodies need some work. But if you just want like a front runner, like a Nick Mira, who's gonna like go and make the melodies and make the beats and go do all that, good luck. There's nobody right now. Like,
Yeah, I did talk to him.
yeah, bro.
He's like, there's this guy with the legend.
Yeah, but he's crazy. He's from a small place like Peak.
Quebec.
Yeah.
This village in Tibet, but he's super fire.
And he actually just like he got the first Roland Juno 106 like in his village, and it's crazy because like no one else in his village is using like synths and sounds like this. So he's like kind of curating a little vibe out of Tibet.
I don't know. I'm gonna make beats.
Yeah, I don't know though, but that's if you want to do it. But if not, whatever. I'm going inside.
Yo,
Turn the hood on.
Me and Rio have a 40 loop analog loop kit.
Are you coming out with a loop kit for Rio?
Rio's been using these boards, and that's what I love to fucking see.
Rio made a whole
Because
entire
these boards need to get used. Because all the shit we've been making is pretty fucking generic as lately, and we
Bro,
need to do some different shit.
James been
Rio
making a
made
one-shot kit
40
with all the boards.
Nah, no.
insane loops with those boards.
Yeah.
Like
It's a
all
lot
like
There's a
cinematic
lot of
shit.
sounds in that motherfucker. 1, 2, 6, 7.
Goddamn, 21 Savage counting. 1, 2, 3, 4.
21, 22, 23.
That boy Charles paid that man like 3-4 bands for an advert. That's pretty fine.
Advice for youngest producers: just hey man, keep doing your shit. Keep doing your shit.
15, 20 later.
You just don't know where your path's gonna take you, so just keep working. That's just really it. Like, there's this app called Clubhouse. I'm sure y'all familiar with it. If not, then it's like the new app that like all the industry people are on. They're like networking on there. Like, yo, I was Alicia Keys' tour manager in 2001. I just want to help anybody I can, and everybody popping their shit on there. And then you go in the producer chat and it's just like, oh my God, like I don't even care about making money from music. It's just about the creation for me and the art. And just like, what do you guys really eat and listen to whenever you're like making coffee in the morning? Does that influence your sound? It's just like, y'all understand that in the bigger scale of this shit, the music industry shit, if you zoom out of just the producer world, y'all are killing yourselves on figuring out how to make better beats to make someone else rich and give artists their biggest songs for them to leave y'all and go work with who's the biggest producers right now, the Jetsons of the world or the Nick Miras of the world, because they're at a position where they can work with the biggest producers. Y'all understand that, right? Instead of like going and putting an artist on or becoming an artist or owning a record yourself or doing all this shit, y'all really just trying to find ways to make someone else rich. It's crazy, bro. I can't be in there. That shit's so like counterproductive. How'd I start? I was one of the biggest internet producers. I've got started in 2010. I came up in an era where Johnny Giuliano, Superstar Vibe, Cardo Got Wings, Sledgerin, Jalil Beats, J Graham, Countdown. I'm just naming a bunch of like SoundClick producers who are epic, were like really popular and popping at the time, and it was like really saturated. And I just, instead of coming up in that and trying to just be another producer throwing my hat in the ring on SoundClick and buying my way up with promo and doing all that shit, because I was new, my beats weren't that good then, you know what I mean? So I started doing social media, and I was one of the only SoundClick producers at the time to really start doing social media shit. And like I was doing like, this is like, no one knew that shit, but TweetAdder, it was like a program where you can like, we were running it up on that motherfucker. TweetAdder, it was like a bot where you can just like get mad. Like I would go follow all these other artists and get all these people wanting to buy beats, and that was an untapped market at the time using TweetAdder. And I would run accounts for other producers. So like I would do the like follow for follow shit on Instagram or Twitter through these various different bots for other people's accounts, and that would be a revenue stream. And that turned into like boom, me leading the meeting producers that led to go to YouTube. And then from that point, I met Nick Mira and DT. They were like 15 at the time, and at that time I was working with MJ Nichols and Beat Plug and all these people, right? And they were on YouTube. We were on YouTube right up, and that's how I met DT and Nick, because they fucked with us because we were on YouTube, and they were just like little ass kids who were a fan of everything. And I wanted to work with them. I wanted to put them on. They were fire. And I remember like people at the time telling me not to work with Nick or DT because they were little ass kids or they were corny or whatever. But I was like, nah, they're cool. Like they were the only 15-year-old kids at the time who were like hitting me up to just like kick it, play video games, do whatever. They didn't really give a fuck about like working on music. And by that's kind of the reason why I wanted to give them opportunity, because they were just so cool. And then that's the reason why Repco and Tanner are here, because they kind of did the same thing with Nick. But, you know, and then we built Internet Money, me, Nick Mira, DT, everybody. And then we started having producers. We went and took over. We did Wave Supply. I put a Drake and French Montana type beat on YouTube. And I got an email from Steven Victor at Kanye West. He was with Kanye West at the time. And I was, and Designer hopped on my beat off YouTube. And I just, on Twitter a couple days before that, I was beefing with Ninth Wonder over the type beat thing. And I've always been a producer to like stand up for producers and do that shit. So I feel like a lot of producers are afraid to post themselves. They're afraid to put themselves on whatever, because you're just working out of a thing, and you might be a little white kid and you don't want to get judged, or you might be overweight or think you're ugly or whatever's going on, and you stop yourself from like putting yourself out there. But so that's why I speak up for a lot of people. But I was beefing with Ninth Wonder because Ninth Wonder and Static Selective was like, fuck type beats, y'all are just clones, y'all copy everybody, none of y'all are gonna be anything, whatever. And I was just like, hey bruh, watch. And then so I was just basically saying like Panda by Designer was a type beat, and just going about all these other, you know, infamous type beats. And then it happens like we're more than just, you know, clones or whatever. And Birdman Zoe reached out to my DM. He managed Menace, who did Panda at the time. And he was just like, yo, everything you're saying is right, but how you're saying is wrong. Like, I was like really popping my shit on Twitter. And I was like, fuck Ninth Wonder and fuck Static Selector and fuck all this shit. So it turned into, you know, he handled the Designer Panda track with Menace. And whenever I got that email from Steven Victor about, yo, did you send beats to Designer? I was like, nah. He's like, oh, we must have got it off of YouTube or something. You put beats on YouTube? I said, yeah. And the song, Big Sean was on it at the time. Damn, whenever I'm in with Big Sean this week, I gotta tell him that. That's crazy. He was on my first placement life. But I guess like him and Kendrick were beefing or something at the time, and he like put shots against Kendrick or something in a version that leaked. So they took Big Sean off and put Gucci Mane on life. And that was the thing that got me my pub deal. So I took a small ass crack in the door off of Life by Designer, and then I took a pub deal. And I remember going into studio sessions and my publisher begging me not to bring Nick Mira or DT or any of these producers, and it just be me, because the more producers I have in the session, that's the more percent that they don't get. And like they were like, yo, no producers, or yo, you have too many people in the sessions. And every time I'm getting at the studio noon, and the session don't even start till 1. I'm getting in the session at noon every day. I ain't got no credits, I ain't got no accolades, I ain't got shit to my name. No one knows who Nick Mira is, no one knows who Internet Money is. And we get at noon every day to set up. And from noon to fucking, they got a like 8 a.m., 7 a.m. They cut the air off at 3 a.m. in the studio. So like it's kind of like a get the fuck out thing, you know what I mean? So we'd be in that bitch from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. sweating, like working. I signed the same week as Lil Skies, so we were all on Lil Skies project. During that time, Nick Mira and DT found Juice WRLD, and they started working with Juice WRLD, and they did like All Girls the Same, Lucid Dreams, and they built up Juice WRLD. Fuck Love by XXXTentacion and Trippie Redd came out the same time, and that's like one of the biggest records that come out the past 3 years. That's just another like accolade to the name. So, you know, running it up, everything just happened at the right time. Juice popping off, Nick doing the shit with Juice, that going on to be one of the biggest records. You meet more people, we get more clout. We put on Lil Tecca, we put on Ian Dior. I did a label deal with Alamo, which I ended up buying out of and moving to 10K Projects. That's where now my label resides. And just a bunch of different shit in the meantime since then. But yeah. That's a story, man. And there's a bunch of little stories and all this shit that went off since then. But that's the gist of the Internet Money story wrapped up into one. Nick is so blessed to work with Juice so early. I think they're both blessed. Like, Juice was obviously, he benefited by having DT and Nick. Like, Nick's probably one of the best producers the past 5 years. So, Juice got to skip a lot of lines because the production and shit he was working with. You know what I mean? So I think it's both. I think Juice benefited and Nick benefited and DT benefited, and everybody who was really involved in the Juice situation just really benefited from it. What happened to Prada Baby? He just didn't work out, man. Like, whenever I bring kids out here and they don't want to work and they just see everybody else winning or getting accolades or getting plaques. Like, if I'm opening plaques in front of you, bruh, and that doesn't motivate you to want to go get a fucking plaque, and I have to beg you to make music or beg you to put songs out or beg you to, like, post on your Instagram or do all this shit, like, you don't want it bad enough, then you know what? I don't need to work with you. I'll go find somebody that wants it just as bad as I want it, because I put my whole life on standby for this shit. I put time away from my son on the side. I put family time. I don't go see my mom. I don't go back to Jacksonville. I don't go anywhere for this music shit. So if you're not willing to make the sacrifices and do that shit with me, and you're in the, you know what I mean, like, you're here, then I don't want to hear it. You don't deserve to be here. So that's that. You still work with Bernard Jabs? No. And I'm not getting in the story behind every artist. So why what happened in the little beef and the fallouts? Because that's very childish and immature, and we're here to talk about the overall picture and not just one artist's story. So we can move on. I mean, right now I would love to find new artists and do all that shit. But I don't know. I'm just kind of in the middle of the realization that I don't have to anymore. Once you kind of go and do it yourself, and you have a big song in the world right now, you kind of look at it like, all right, bet. I was killing myself to put these artists on to get 3% royalty. Like, fuck that. I could own the pie. I could own the 82% from the label. I could own the 20% from the artist. I could own the 3% from the producer. Like, I could go make millions right now with one song. Why would I go make 20 songs to make $1 million? And that's if they blow up. It just doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean? What strain am I smoking on?
Extremely exotic.
I have no idea, bro. I just smoke every fucking day. I don't really care what I'm smoking. And I didn't even start smoking until January 2019. But something needed to change, bro. I was really depressed. I was in a bad part. I was suicidal. I was doing all this shit, and it's because I was in my head so much. And it's like, weed really helped me with that. It really just turns my brain off and just lets me not think about it. So I don't like to overthink. I really, weed smoking and marijuana is the reason why I'm so successful right now. Because I probably wouldn't be on this planet, or I'd probably be in prison. If I ain't have weed, I'd probably kill somebody by now.
Weed is like the best mental stability drug.
Yeah, well,
In
I mean,
a weird ass way.
bro, before I was fucking on weed, I was on Insta or Periscope fucking with AR-15s saying, like, leaking people's addresses. Like, bro, I'll pull the fuck up on you. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Think about, like, antidepressants, like, side effects, and weed side effects. Weed is so chill. It does nothing bad to your body except, like, make you cough a little. But
Nah, I be clearing my throat so much, bro. And that, like, whenever I wake up, like, I don't...
it's not good for your lungs, obviously.
It's not like how I know I'm up, I send off that early morning cough, you feel me? That clear your throat, that's how you know you're up. Once I clear my throat, I'm up for the day. But that's the sacrifice you pay to... Darm knows. Look at Darm. Darm's been in... How long have you been in our world, Darm?
A year.
A year now, right? Can you imagine us not smoking?
Bro, I was just talking to Darm the other day in the car, and I was like, babe, do you think it's funny that, like, you just get to chill and see the, like, behind the scenes of the music industry?
Bro,
just, like,
I was talking
you
to...
don't even
bro.
think anything of it, but you're just, like, sitting in the room while fucking, like, numbered fucking 1 songs are being made, and you don't even, like, give a fuck.
Bro, So yesterday, right? Like, you gotta understand Selena. Selena was like, she's like a fangirl. Like, her favorite artist is Juice, and like, she's like a big Travis fan and like all this shit. So to be on this side of shit now, and like, she used to look at like all these albums and shit, like, oh my god, this is so good. But she'll be listening, she'll be in the car while I'm listening to these same albums. I'm like, this is complete utter fucking shit. Like, do you not hear this? The mix is fucking awful. Or this loop sucks. Or God, the lyrics are so generic and corny. Like, what the
I
fuck?
don't hear anything in this guy.
She's just like, she's like, music's so boring now because I'm just so critical. I'm like, this is awful.
She's got to be though.
But yeah, but like, she kind of looks at music like an A&R now. Or like, music was ruined for me the minute I started like getting into it, because I'm like, why did they pick that guitar? Why are they using these effects? Like, why is it so wet? Like, why couldn't they pull it back?
I never enjoy it. Like, I
Yeah.
do to an extent, but like, you know what I mean? But
What I want to know is how you smoke more and lose more weight. That is too wild for me.
because
Listen,
if
bro.
you have good willpower, you don't need to eat hella.
No. So whenever you don't have weed, you know how people like, a lot of people, they get high, they get the munchies, right? Me, I get high, I get super lazy, so I don't feel like getting up and walking to the kitchen to get food. Or even Postmates, I can't never find anything that's like, what do I want? Because all LA food's fucking trash. So,
Also,
but hold on, another thing, instead of like eating every second because I'm bored, like bored eating, I just bored smoke now.
same. And also, getting the munchies when you smoke, it's like the same thing as like your eyes getting hella red when you smoke, or like getting hella high when you smoke. It's like some beginner shit. Once you smoke weed every day for hella long, those like little beginner side effect shit doesn't happen anymore. It's just normal now. You know what I mean?
Do I ever lose the motivation? I lose the motivation every night. Every single night. I go through like a day-to-day thing where like I'll wake up in the morning super inspired. I'll get some shit done at the end of the night. I'll just be like, man, fuck everything. I want to quit. This fucking sucks. Nothing's good enough. And I'll snap on everybody. I'm like, this is not good enough. This is not acceptable. We're internet fucking money. We make
The bar
hits.
is very high.
The bar is high here. And if you don't like working in hostile situations, then go somewhere else, because internet money is not for you. This is like the Marines in this bitch. I basically train you not to be a human being anymore and to be a music making robot.
Fucking SSG Taz.
SSG Taz. But my mind, I have to have so many different ideas because I have to empower everybody every day. Like, imagine motivating 50 people to do their jobs. Like, artists be like, I don't know, because they be their biggest critics. So like, I don't know, I don't fuck with this, or I don't like this. I gotta be like, bro, you're on the right path. You're doing the right thing. You're good. Just keep fucking going. And then I gotta turn around to a producer who's made 300 beats this fucking month and has no placements. And they're like, I just don't know where to go. Like, I'm trying, but it's like, and I'm like, bro, you're on the right path. You're going. You know what I mean? It's just, I got to motivate 50 fucking people. So I go through 50 different ideas, and I'm already mentally exhausted by the end of the night. And I'm high and twisted off fucking a pound a week. So it's like,
But without the weed, that shit would be fucked.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's why a lot of people would leave internet money. Like, it's hard. And if you're not like mentally, I don't want to say mentally strong, but if you can't handle the working process and the expectation of like getting in and like crafting out records, because I expect to, like, you gotta understand, like, for me, I'm sacrificing shit to be here. So I'm rich already. Like, I don't need to grind away music every day like I'm some fucking broke artist.